الرحيم الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله سيدنا مولانا محمد بن عبد الله نور من نور الله. Alhamdulillah, our gratitude is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having able us to be here tonight on this very blessed Thursday evening in a state of good health and iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our iman and our taqwa, insyaAllah. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. There's a story I like to share. I haven't memorized the story, but I will narrate the story, inshallah. A Sufi sat before his house. So there's a Sufi, basically one who is accomplished in his zikir and his tazkiyah, one who has, mashallah, reached a certain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before his house and answered questions put to him by passerby. So anybody who comes by, they will ask him questions. Oh, mashallah, right? Yeah. And in all the surrounding area, he was considered a wise man. That means in all of maybe Kampung Glam, well, he is known as someone who is wise and someone who is pious, mashallah. Most surprising was the fact that he called himself ignorant. So he called himself Jahil. So IG at Jahil. Itulah, he called himself the ignorant one, the one that doesn't know any knowledge. And his wife was of the same opinion. So his wife would co-share that account and says, my husband is the Jahil. Right? It happened. Vice versa also can. Now we have to be fair. And there are 30 people today, and there are 30 people passed by today and asked him 30 questions. So 30 su'al was asked to the Sufiya. And to all 30 questions, the Sufi answered with sincere sorrow, bil ikhlas, I don't know, he says. He says, I do not know. In the evening, his curious wife, so his wife who is for sure knows that he is ignorant. In the evening, his curious wife, having listened through the window, so the wife was listening, right? What was happening? To those many questions and answers, came and began to reprimand him. So she came to the Sufi, her husband, and reprimanded him. And she said, I always suspected you were a little stupid. She said to her husband. Marriage guidance course happening right now. You couldn't even answer the simplest question they asked. The wife said, one simple question also you cannot answer. So how is it the people did not thrash you? So how come since you cannot answer them, how come they never beat you up? That's what the wife was asking. In a way the wife is asking, how are you still lucky and or people never beat you up? What did the Sufi answer? The Sufi said, I don't understand either. He himself said, I don't know. Confessed the Sufi in all ikhlas. He confessed with all sincerity. And why was it, so the wife said, unwilling to leave off? That means the wife don't want to stop the conversation. The wife said, and why was it, she was about to ask another question, that you answered simply, I do not know, and the people went away satisfied, and only the last one, hearing your answer, covered his face with his hands. So basically, when all of the answers he gave, he said, I don't know, everybody was happy. Next time, when you all ask me a question, I'm going to say, do the same. I don't know. Right? I don't know. Everybody would be happy. That's what the Sufi is saying. The wife saw this. So the witness what? The wife. But the wife says, except for that last person, he left covering his face. Why? The Sufi answered. The Sufi said, 29 of them, answered the Sufi, knew the answer before asking me the question. 29 of them already knew the answer before asking me the question. So my not knowing reinforced their affirmation. It's a two-pronged answer, you know. My not knowing reinforce their affirmation. One is that this means if this Sufi don't know, means I know. Whatever I know is correct. And this also reinforces the affirmation that this Sufi is memang ignorant. So the Sufi says this. If you understand this, you understand this. And that's why they went away satisfied. Because they came to us about what? About their own ego. You get what I'm trying to say? And the ego also wants to confirm whether the Sufi is clever or not. So it is already proven that the Sufi is what? Like the wife said, stupid. Right? And the last one the wife asked, what question did he ask you? Well, the last one that went away covering his face, right? What was the su'al? The question was, the Sufi said, who fears God more? He asked, the man who speaks or the man who keeps silent? And what was the Sufi's answer? I do not know, I said to him, and he broke into tears. Who knows, who fears God more? The one who speaks or the one who keeps silent? What did the Sufi say? And that in itself is the answer. What was the answer? No, not I don't know. He did answer. You just have to keep silent. Understand or not? Apa you faham? The one who fears God most is the one who keeps what? Simple. Not that he says he don't know, then everybody goes. No, it's not about he doesn't know. The one who fears Allah the most are those who, when hears Allah name, their hearts tremble. How when your heart tremble means there's no complaint, no nothing, just keeping silent. That is the reason why, coming back to this zikr, we do our zikr collectively. When there's no harmony, which I did feel today, zikr was a bit bumpy, means we have problem keeping silent and being together. Because we need to do the zikr our way. And it becomes a bit uncomfortable. You get what I'm trying to say? The subtleness of the ego is such that even when we want to do zikr, we have to do zikr how? Our way. When we do zikr, Allah has mentioned that the principle of zikr is what? Azkuruni azkurkum. If you remember me, which means if you keep silence and say my name, I will guide you how to say my name. Which means when you do your dhikr, make sure there is no whispering, there is no handphone, there is no thinking, no nothing. Listen to the voice and you will be able to do my dhikr. So those who do dhikr would say what? Do you know how to dhikr? You don't know. Because in true fact, who's making the dhikr? Allah is teaching us. So all we have to do is to keep silent. But we want things to be our way. You get what I'm trying to say? So that is the reason why the hakika of the self cannot arise. I have been taught it must be this way. I have to be like this, it has to be like that. The flooring is this, my legs are this, my head is that, my clothes is this, the bakhur is that. Everything is making noise because we see everything as noise, not as praising Allah. But what did the Sufi see? The Sufi say, even his wife who was chiding him as a way of Allah praising him. What did the Sufi see? The Sufi see as those 29 people who looked down on him as a way of Allah what? Praising him and loving him and remembering him. All he has to do is just keep silent. Oh, Ustaz, this is passive. We live in a world where we have to be proactive and we have to take on challenges with all of our new understanding. Sometimes the best way to understand is to be silent. Here of the Sophia is not the silence of, the silence of weak. The silence of the Sufiya are the silence of people who are like lions. When a lion is silent, is looking at its prey. And everybody is afraid of the lion. He doesn't have to roar yet. Imagine when the lion roars. Right? The same. So when the Sufi is keeping silent, the whole world can be condemning that Sufi, but in actual fact, he is being praised in what is so called as what? As a trouble of dunya. See, people of zikr, when they follow how Allah wants them to praise Allah, even the 29 people that say that he is dumb, he feels he is okay with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not the ego denying whether we know or don't know. That's a different story altogether. Of course, to be a Sufi, you need to have knowledge. It doesn't just come, sit down, do zikir, jadi Sufi. Bukan maksudnya itu. You still need your knowledge of what? Of the self. So when we are able to do zikir together, then it'll be good lah. Too slow, I lose everybody. Too fast, I lose everybody. I do in between, people don't know how to do zikir. Macam mana? You get what I'm trying to say? So it's really important to follow and let Allah open up your heart to do, remember Allah. This is not a choir. A minor, B, whatever voice is behind, the other voice is in front. It's not that. But when we get together, it should be like a choir. Just like when we are together, all of the Sufi, all the people who are what? Against the Sufi, right? We say he's ignorant and he doesn't know. Even that works in harmony with the Sufi's journey. And this is in true fact Sunnah actually. In truth Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It says that it is taught in such a manner. But actually it is Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He doesn't see anything as an opportunity that disengages him from Allah. But every moment is an opportune moment for him to be with Allah, because Allah is inviting him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So tomorrow, if we see 29 people who says, oh, you are ignorant, all you have to do is say, Alhamdulillah. But that doesn't mean you don't want to learn knowledge. Some people take this lesson as an extreme. My Shaykh says, even if people call you stupid, never mind. That's not what I meant. In order for the Sufi to understand this, it took very subtle knowledge. Right? Even his marriage is still blessed. Correct or not? If we're talking about marriage today, everybody's fighting, etc. No, the wife is calling him ignorant. I knew you're a little stupid. That's what the wife said. But what did the Sufi say? You're right. Huh? Vice versa. Both. Husband to wife, wife to husband, both. You get what I'm trying to say? Why? Because for those who are at Hakika, it doesn't matter what the world thinks of them. It matters whether they still remember Allah or not. And how they remember Allah. That's most important. How they remember Allah. When they have Hakika, nothing in this dunya can bring them down. Not that they want to go up, but everything around them will be what? Truthful. Even those who are coming with falsehood would lead to truthfulhood. It's not easy lah. What the Sufi did, memang is not easy. It's not easy. But he is not passive. This is not about, what dua did he read? Can I get that dua? What is that dua? What selawat? What selawat? Apa doa apa dia baca? Ni bukan baca-baca. If baca-baca, it's different level. This is what? Ma'rifah. This is looking everything with Jabarut, everything with the power, Al-Jabbar of Allah. Everything with the Jabbar of Allah. And these are people who have reached the level of Jabarut. But people of Malakut are people of signs, or means this means this, that means that, this means I see this, I see that, this. But people of Jabarut are the people who only see one power, the power of Allah. Khalas. These are the most mutma'innah people, the Jabarut. I was telling one of our murids, because he said, oh Murshid, the other day when we were reading the Awrad, you read a bit different than the one that you gave us. I said, yeah, I'm going to change all of that and make it streamlined. Okay, I said I might do the Awrad book soon, etc. Yes, it'll be good for people who want to know the tariqah. And then I replied, so they want to know tariqah or they want to know the Awrad? Nowadays, people only want to know what you zikir. Your tariqah zikir apa? Dia zikir gini. You punya tariqah zikir gini. Ni zikir power. If you already know the zikir is power, you might as well become sheikh. People are not looking for guidance. They are looking for zikir. Mas'alah. When we should be looking for guidance, then the zikir would bear fruit. These people, they're thinking they're looking with firasat. Oh, my heart say like that, my heart say. Your heart is not even awake. If your heart is awake, you would have a guide long time ago. The heart of Sayyidina Abu Bakr was awake. He was waiting for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The heart of Abu Jahl was not awake. Even when the guide came and prayed for him and gave him everything, he still became who he was. So, my nasiha, what I give to that murid, I think some of my murids are very active on IG, just a handful of them. So they're promoting the aura, they're promoting this, promoting that. I, on the other hand, just keep looking at the stories. I go like, oh, this is going on, okay. Someone has to do the tuning lah kan. So I said, oh no, so what should I tell them? Tell them, people need guidance, not aurat. But I say, I know people need something to hold on to busy themselves, so give them aurat lah. Zikir, you can buy all the books of zikir. Berapa banyak orang kita ada. Some of them you see, they have many different kind of zikir. Masya Allah. If really bring properly, they will be kutub of the zaman. But they are only zaman, tak ada kutub, they are only time. Not even the head of the time. They are wasting time. Why? Because the zikir needs what? Guidance. We learn to read Quran, they don't have guidance. Even though if it is that pen, you all buy that pen, or I put this pen teach me how to read. Okay, fine. Isn't it still some form of guidance? Yes. So the same. The Sufi was able to take that because he was guided to do that. He did not do that ignorantly. So it's not something we jump into and we think we can do it just because we bought a book of zikr and suddenly you're Sufi. No. This requires a lot of inner, tuning. Like example, the guitar. You strum it, right? There's the first, when you strum the guitar, it vibrates, right? Loud, yes, am I right? But after a while, does it decrease? The in-between, from the beginning of the note to the end. In between that is where the real vibration is. So from your zikr, from one la ilaha illallah to the next la ilaha illallah, what is happening in between there? That gap, from one breath of Allah, who in between that, is there something or is it empty? For the Sufi, it was never empty. That's why any time people can come and he is willing to say, I don't know. It doesn't hurt his ego. So don't burden yourself with so many awrad when Allah has given us la ilaha illallah, and that is enough to save us from the hellfire. But we need to do it with ikhlas, with sincerity. So if the wife, in this case, I have many muridas. So in this case, if the story was a lady lah, If the husband, you get what I'm trying to say? Or if the wife, anyway, decided to learn from the Sufi, would they benefit? Yes. And that's what Prophet did, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they came with him with everything of dunya, he says, I don't know any of this. What did I say I don't know? He says, even if you put the sun in my right hand, the moon in my left, I will still continue to do my work. Going back to our story, it's like, I don't know any of this. I'm just with haqq. So when people come with batil, they saw the beauty of the haqq, they change. Don't think people did not test Prophet ﷺ. All of them tested Rasul ﷺ. Yet, when they sat with haqq, they become haqq. That's the silence of Nur-e-Muhammad ﷺ. So if we cannot achieve the vibration when we are silent, or when we are slower in our dhikr, there is no energy, there is no pump, there is no focus. And then when we're doing it fast, it's because it entertains the ego. It entertains the energy of the ego. Oh, sedap, syok. That's why in Mahalul Qiyam, notice I went a bit faster, everybody happy, macam dapat freedom gitu, keluar gandang, everybody is happy. It's for you to see the difference when we do slow and when we do fast. When our ears are not able to synchronize with the group, with the mouth and all, is not a motoring skill problem, tak ada. It's just a surrendering problem. You get what I'm trying to say? So here is not an exercise of the body, it's the exercise of the heart. So listen with your heart. Don't let your heart be cluttered and crowded. Just listen. The heart will push you, will guide you how to do your dhikr, because you're remembering Allah. Understand? So with this, inshallah, all of our dunya will become more peaceful, more focused, just like that Sufi. Inshallah, whenever people put through in our journey, we'll be able to say, inshallah, Allah will help me with determination. Like Allah has mentioned in Hadith Qudsi, when my servant says once Allah in their heart, I would say my servant to them, my reply to them will be 10 times. So when you say Allah in your heart once, Allah will say to you, my servant, my servant, my servant, my servant, 10 times to you. So how many times we say Allah in our heart, how many times Allah says my servant, my servant. So you cannot be ignorant if you have Allah in your heart, inshallah. May Allah give us the nur of our mashaykh in our hearts, the nur of the Prophet in our hearts, the nur of the great malaikas in our hearts, the nur of Arshullah in our hearts, the nur of Nur-e-Muhammad in our hearts, and all of the tajalli in our hearts, inshallah. May it emanate with Allah's love and Allah's mercy and Allah's blessing, like how it has emanated into the hearts of our mashaykhin, and then may it emanate into all of our murideen and all of their families and their children and the future children, inshallah, all of our community, all of our marriages, all of our relationships. May it be blessed with this tajalli of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All good is from Allah and Rasul and Murshid. If not, it is from my own self. I see all of you, inshallah, on Monday for Majlis. Don't switch it off first. Just